Hey everyone, Sweeney here, and welcome to the monthly reload number 38. Some of the top stories include a case study how to generate 36,000 readers and 1,000 emails from your next blog post, keyword research in 90 minutes, and $500 free ad credit for LinkedIn, plus much, much more. So, what we aim to do with the monthly reload is we get you caught up on what you might have missed in the month. So we hand curate the best posts, news, videos, tools, softwares, interviews, all of that good stuff from the past month, and we put it together for you in this monthly reload. So we always like to start off with some news. One of our first stories is Pinterest bans all affiliate links, asking power users to monetize in other ways. Now, if you're not quite paying attention at home, this is pretty huge. Why? Because there was a lot of people making money off of Pinterest that now no longer are making money off of Pinterest. Or in another way to put it, there used to be a lot of ad inventory that was getting bought that is now empty. So yes, Pinterest does have its own paid advertising program, but with so many of these power users no longer having a way to monetize their pages, I bet you will be able to get some very cheap deals. Next up, we have Google My Business upgrades their business photos. So from the post, starting today, you can tell us which images you'd like to appear when customers search for your business on Google. Just log into Google My Business on the web or in the Android or iOS apps and visit the photo sections. While you're there, you can also give your business a fresh look online by updating your profile, logo, and cover photos. Also, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon are paying to unblock ads. So they've all paid AdBlock Plus to be whitelisted. Now, this is pretty interesting to think that a a simple tool could become so big and so popular. I mean, the tool exists in the Google Chrome marketplace, which Google literally owns. And it becomes so big that it can have these advertisers literally ceding to its decision. Next up, AdStage. Get a $500 free ad credit to run LinkedIn sponsored updates. Now, there is a bit of a loophole to this. You do need to be an AdStage customer, though I do think you can become a customer for maybe 14 days or so for free usually. Either way, AdStage is pretty cheap. If you're already running some Facebook traffic, you're probably worth checking out AdStage anyways. And what better time to do it than to do it now and get $500 of ad credit for LinkedIn as well. Speaking of LinkedIn, they're rolling out their new lead accelerator tool and they're expanding their display ad network beyond the LinkedIn platform. So since they acquired Bizio last August, LinkedIn has now integrated Bizio's lead gen tools to expand its marketing solutions portfolio. So LinkedIn still making moves. Always nice to see. Also in news, Facebook Marketing Partners is now live. Now, why is this relevant? Well, it's built on the idea that a better partner matches better improved performance for marketers. Or namely, it's good to see that they're actually recognizing that, hey, a good partner with the right advertiser is probably going to have a lot more success. We also have a bit of stats here. So these are the 6 indicators of breakout e-commerce growth. Now, e-commerce is blowing up, in case you didn't know. No real huge surprise there. I mean, you look at companies like the Dollar Shave Club, Amazon Prime, and other delivery services that have really just, I mean, Amazon is the most obvious, but have really cut out retail locations. So, is everything going to be e-commerce? I don't know, but God, it is really going in that direction. Now, these numbers are: top performers acquire new customers twice as fast. Top performers have an average order value 36% higher. Top performers have 2 times the lifetime number of orders. Top performers get 50% revenue from repeat purchases, and top performers have 5 times more customer lifetime value. Now, if you're paying attention there, customer lifetime value is the important one. So we also are going to shift gears and jump into our top stories now. So one of the top stories is content marketing lessons from 10 years and 41 million website visits. So Hiten Shah outlines 7 lessons that he learned in his 12 years doing content marketing for Crazy Egg, Kissmetrics, and HelloPar. Now, this is an awesome slideshare that if you're into content marketing, I recommend checking out. I'm going to briefly overview those 7 lessons. Number 1, content equals marketing. Number 2, people ignore ads, but they love great content. 3, content marketing can be reversed engineered and even imitated. 4, headlines are everything because they get people to click. 5, organic search is the top traffic source for content marketing. 6, content helps you tell your story. And 7, content creates conversion opportunities. Next up, we have how to generate 36,000 readers and 1,000 email subscribers from your next blog post case study. So if you're serious about getting results from your content, these are the 3 steps that you need to know. Step 1, find content with a proven track record of attracting backlinks, social shares, and first page rankings. Step 2, make strategic improvements to that content. And step 3, promote that content via email outreach. And this post has a lot of info on step 3. Now, what's funny about this post is that I was actually emailed it to me. So Brian Dean reached out and said, hey, would you feature this post in your next reload? The reason why that's interesting is because it's showing he literally practices what he preaches. Shifting gears here, we have 2 very good startup style stories. So how Stripe marketed to developers so effectively. Stripe, if you haven't heard of them, I'd be extremely surprised. They are a credit card processing company, and they have a current valuation of $3.5 billion. They're also processing billions of dollars a year for thousands of businesses, and well on its way to fulfilling the goal that it expressed on the company's website, which is increasing the GDP of the internet. Pretty bold goal. But what exactly contributed to this monumental growth? I mean, that's a pretty big deal. Developers love Stripe, and so do venture capitalists who continue to pour money into the payment startup to the tune of the $3.5 billion valuation. But how do they get something as unsexy as payment company? How do they get so much love, hype, and growth in a market dominated by people like Google and PayPal? In this growth study, they break down just how Stripe has found growth. Then we also have from 0 to $1 billion. Slack's founder shares their epic launch strategy. Now, if you're not in the startup community, you may not have heard about Slack. But Slack is the little social network almost within. It's this weird blend of social network and chat room. And this internal communication platform, as they call it, is only 2 years old, but it's already used by more than 30,000 teams and valued at over $1 billion. So in this post, they share all about their launch strategy. Next up, search has changed, and this is how Rand Fishkin says marketers' tactics must shift in 2015. Rand Fishkin suggests that SEO is getting harder, but the flip side is that with a higher barrier to entry, that means great opportunity for those who succeed. His presentation includes the following changes and tips. 1, moving from keyword matching to topic association. 2, domain level keyword connections are on the rise. 3, Google's crackdown on spam is basically a crackdown on ranking without brand. 4, critical SEO data still flows for the 1%, but is unavailable to the 99%. And 5, even great content benefits from paid amplification. Next up, staying in the tune of SEO, we have how to do keyword research in 90 minutes. Keyword research is one of those things that gets covered so much, but a lot of times it can be this big gray area. We don't quite know what to do. So I love that this post really breaks it down. It's very honest about how much time it's going to take, and it shows you and holds you by the hand on how to do it. Next up, we have a Neil Patel post, which is how I increased my search traffic by 47% from translating my blog into 82 languages. So when you write your blog posts, what language do you write them in? Chances are, guessing, you write them in English. What if I told you that you would get more traffic if you wrote your blog posts in Mandarin and Spanish, as they are the two most popular languages in the world? Neil tried out an experiment to translate neilpatel.com into 82 different languages. Within 3 weeks of doing this, he saw a 47% increase in his search traffic, as you can see from the image above. Now, this might not be feasible for everyone in every market, but you can certainly think, what are the few larger, especially if you're a more global company, what are the larger languages that we can tackle and potentially translate our website into? Now, of course, you want to make sure you're already getting a certain amount, a level of traffic so that the amplification is worth the efforts. Next up, we also have how I generated 500,000 visitors, 16,000 leads from 77 webinars. So at Kissmetrics, they have held 77 webinars to date with great results so far. You can safely assume that they would have stopped holding these webinars long ago if the results had been less than desirable, since they're a company that measures everything. So what have these webinars yielded? They have brought over 500,000 visitors, of which 150,000 have registered to attend a webinar. However, only 74 of those who registered ended up attending, and only 16,000 turned into leads. Assuming that you can close at least 1 out of 20 leads, a low closing ratio, and that each customer is worth a few $1,000s, you're looking at generating $1,600,000 revenue by conservative estimates. Then we have distribution tactics I use to go from 0 to 20,000 real quick. So as discussed in part 1 of the series by Benji, creating valuable content is only half the battle when it comes to content marketing. The other half of the battle is getting people to actually read your content. So from talking with numerous founders, content marketers, and bloggers over the last month, it seems like distribution is part of the content marketing that most people struggle with. Good news, he spent a lot of time figuring out a combination of distribution tactics that can get you traction quickly. These are the same distribution tactics he used to grow the Build blog to over 20,000 monthly unique visitors in less than 4 months. Also, the same tactics he uses to grow this, or rather his, site. Now, these are not the only ways to distribute content. However, these tactics are his go-to ways to grow his audience quickly and authentically. Now, we do have a little, let's see if we can find the graph here, by Rand Fishkin. And he was saying a reminder post engagement is higher on LinkedIn and Google Plus than Twitter and Facebook. So a little food, or post-click engagement rather, a little food for thought. Now, next up, we have a tip of the week from Hiten Shah, and this is on the blog directly. His simple rule marketing. He often gets asked about marketing tactics, especially from early stage businesses. How should we acquire customers? How should we do paid acquisition? Should we invest in blogging, engage on Twitter or Facebook? He's also been in meetings, and they'll get to a slide with a long list of marketing tactics. In these situations, he responds by simply asking the most basic question: what's already working? After he hears the answer, and there's always an answer to that question, he focuses the rest of the discussion on how more of that can be done. It's usually that simple. Figure out how to do more of what's working first before you move on to new channels or marketing tactics. Want to know how you can get more customers? Just ask yourself that simple question. If you still can't figure out how to do more of what's already working, reply to the email with details. And he said he'll help you think of what to do. So that's his SaaS weekly email. Now it's time to transition into tool time. So blanket your home in reliable Wi-Fi. This is eero.com. No more dead zones, no more buffering. Eero is the world's first Wi-Fi system. A set of 3 Eeros covers the typical home. They work in unison to deliver hyper-fast, super stable Wi-Fi to every nook of every room. Stream video or email from anywhere in your home and even your backyard too. This is pretty big, depending upon where you live. I know no one likes dead spots. It happens if you have a much bigger home too. Maybe you're one of those internet marketers kicking it out in the middle of the country, and you get a lot of dead spots in your house. You want to go work on the porch, or you have a wonderful dock that you want to go work at. Well, This is the answer that you've been looking for. Next up, we have the Product Hunt Handbook. This is how to effectively launch your product on Product Hunt. And we also have the Product Hunt Manual, which is a step-by-step guide and workbook for a successful Product Hunt launch. Now, why all the Product Hunt love? Well, for example, this is how one startup was able to hack Product Hunt and get over 10,000 website hits in under 24 hours. So this serves two purposes. One, this is an awesome case study that you can check out. And two, this is also the proof of the pudding. If you have a software type SaaS, type app, type etc., Product Hunt is big. And I feature a lot of Product Hunt products in our tool time, so it felt only right to put it in here. Now, some other fun products, we have Draw Attention. So this is literally a whiteboard that affixes itself to the back of your laptop screen. So this is pretty cool. You can, write whatever you have going on, maybe you're a web designer, digital marketer, whatever it is that you sell. And you can, as you can see here in the image, web developer, free advice. You can draw attention to yourself. And it's one of those easy ways to say to other people, hey, this is what I do. Next up, Phone Expander. This helps quickly free up storage for iOS. So if you're one of those guys whose phone is always clogged up, I personally just bought the 74 gigabytes iPhone 6, just so I would have no worries about storage at all. But if you're one of those that's tapping out, check out Phone Expander. Then we have commits.io. And what this does is it makes a poster from your code. So basically you upload your code and it makes a very pretty poster from your code. And what it does is it really helps with your programmers, make them feel like they're worth it. Make them feel like they worked hard on and what they built is really worth it. Next up, we have Review. So getreview.co. And this is a weekly digest creator, much similar to this, which allows you to create an engaging, gorgeous weekly digest. You just focused on the curation and they'll make sure it looks awesome. I'm personally praying that they come out with a WordPress adaptation. Then we have tinychart.co. This is simple, but it's sexy. It creates nice charts. We also have Pablo by Buffer. And what this does is it designs engaging images for your social media posts in under 30 seconds. Then we have Layers. So layerswp.com. And this is a simple WordPress site builder that you'll be a pro the first time you use it. That's how simple it is. And best of all, it's free forever. It's beautiful, easy, and quick. So you can check it out. I know a lot of us are in WordPress a lot, so it never hurts to find some new designers. Then we also have remoteok.io. And what this is it is a daily aggregator of all remote jobs. I quote the founder here. There's too many remote job boards, but many of my friends are still unable to find a remote job. Why? Because they don't have the time to look through hundreds of boards for specifically remote jobs. And the remote boards out there are too dispersed. So he built this. Think of it like a search engine for all remote jobs out there. It aggregates all remote jobs from lots of different sources. And then if you'd like to apply for a job, it links you back to the source. He'll be adding more sources soon and many others. He meets many people that are ready to go, but simply can't because they're tied to a desk job. So he hopes that it makes it easier for normal people that actually want to go remote, and that'll help his little nomadic revolution go faster too. Now, jumping back into a few more stories here, getting Yelp reviews when all else fails. It's hard getting any review, but it's particularly hard getting Yelp reviews. They filter many, many more than make it through. He's seen filtering rates as high as 85% of first-time reviewers. Unless the reviewer either has lots of Yelp friends or lots of Yelp reviews, their reviews will be nuked. Yelp, of course, doesn't want you asking for reviews. This is to some extent craziness on the part of Yelp, and you're going to ask anyway. As a note, it's not against their terms of service. It's just a recommendation. So what do you do if you absolutely need to have a few reviews at Yelp? Laser sharp targeting of who you ask. Next up, we also have 70% of SEO is easy. So here's what one SEO pro swears you should do to master it. Then we have this is one that's all in the headline. BBB, Better Business Bureau, accreditation, boring but bumps your local SEO. Yes, it costs money. Yes, it takes time, but it certainly seems to be worth it. We also have the Marketer's Guide to Surveying Users by Qualaroo. I think it's Qualaroo. And these, they just know customer feedback. These guys really know it. And you want to know what's going on in your users and your customers and your visitors' minds. This is how you build a better survey. Then we have Want More Traffic That Actually Converts. Follow These 4 Steps by Brian Dean, where he talks about the truth about getting targeted traffic in 2015 and beyond. Then we have How to Acquire Customers, 19 traction channels to start testing today. So the guys that wrote the book Traction, A Startup Guide to Getting Customers, lay out all 19 of their different traction channels that they recommend. Then we have 7 landing page styles that work with paid advertising. This comes to us from AdBeat. They found that 7 different style of landing pages are working very well for advertisers who drive millions of dollars worth of display traffic to their site every year. In this post, they cover what they are, who's using them, and why they work. You've probably seen some of them, but they guarantee there's 1 or 2 that will be new for most people. We have a post from Digital Marketer. Shout out Digital Marketer. Traffic conversion was a great time. And they have 5 lightning fast ways to create stellar blog content, even if you hate to write. Then we have by Razor Social, the ultimate guide to using BuzzSumo for content research. Now, I've talked about BuzzSumo a lot here because there's a lot of different things you can use it for, but content research especially. And Razor Social breaks down the entire process of using BuzzSumo. Then we have a little bit more random post, and this is called Screw Motivation. What you need is discipline. So if you're still struggling to have success online or even in your own business, maybe you just need more discipline in your life. Now it is time for our honorable mentions. Let me jump down here to the bottom. So, what would you do to jumpstart growth at an e-commerce store? Software as a service, secrets to raising venture capital, why learning to code is so damn hard. Exclusive, how this man got the media to fall for Ship Your Enemy's glitter stunt. Exclusive, how this left-wing activist manipulates the media to spread his message. The Definite Guide to Pinterest for E-commerce. Case study, B2B SaaS paid advertising strategy. How to spend your first $100 on retargeting ads. Traction lists, 50 places to promote, validate, and grow your product or startup. Maximum ROI via content distribution networks. Confessions of a Content Amplifier by Justin Brooke. Hacks to rank YouTube videos in Google. The behind the scenes of a thriving and active membership site. Part 1, becoming more effective or more efficient rather with Scrum. Part 2, becoming more efficient with theming your days. And that will wrap it up for this monthly's reload. It sure was a mouthful. There was a lot to cover. It's hard to jam-pack an entire month into one reload, but I do the best I can. So feel free to hit me on Twitter at Dan Sweeney or at DigTrig. Let us know what you thought of the reload. Let us know what you hope to see next. And if you have any questions, I am a wealth of information from doing all these reloads. So if there's something you're starting out, you have a particular question you want to ask me about, feel free to shoot it over. You can also, as always, leave a wonderful comment right here, start the discussion, and we'll chat back with you. Thanks for joining us as always, and tune in for our next interview coming shortly.